This is going to be a terrific game. Oh, nice shots.
Goal there, that does the job.
It's a beautiful shot.
That's hit beautifully.
The atmosphere here is electric. That'll certainly get him going.
You make me feel so alive.
Boxing Day morning at Centurion. SuperSport alive with the game we love. Great excitement up here, particularly I think for Dale Steyn. He's on 421 test match wickets. That is level with Shaun Pollock. He takes another today. He becomes the highest wicket taker in South Africa's cricketing history. It puts him amongst the immortals of the game.
Edged and gone. 422 for Dale Steyn.
And Shaun has to say, well played, matey. You're the modern master.
Long live the king.
Well, they ask. I reckon he's got outside the line, but Bruce Oxmanford doesn't agree with me.
South Africa having a fabulous Boxing Day morning.
Bowled him. There's the rattle. That is really good stuff from Olivier. He's got himself fired.
Doesn't make any difference. Glorious batting from Babar Azam. Glorious straight driving, a partnership of 50 by this pair now. A masterclass from Babar Azam.
Congratulations to Duanne Olivier. 6 for 37.
Pakistan bowled out for 181.
Oh, that's not a bad shot. It's a couple of shots. Up goes that finger, yeah. And there's the explosion celebration as well.
Gone, there's another one. Belatedly tried to take the bat away. And it's Shaheen Afridi.
A stunning day of test match cricket. Many stars today, 15 wickets falling for 308 runs, and still Pakistan have a key advantage in this game here. Extraordinary figures and extraordinary drama at SuperSport Park on Boxing Day. Hello everybody, welcome to the second day's play in this first Castle Lager test match between South Africa and Pakistan here at Centurion. Another glorious day, very hot forecast, lovely skies and perfect conditions, certainly for those who want to watch cricket. Quite testing for the players, pretty warm out there, but South Africa reacted well with the ball and then Pakistan responded well with the ball. The players arriving this morning, the match evenly poised. Hard to say if either side has an advantage, and if they do, it's only marginal. And now the Pakistan side, there's no doubt that this sort of nervous walk to the ground, they hide with a smile and lots of them are listening to music, but by heaven, they're tense. I think today is probably moving day in this test match. Usually we call that the third day, but I think the second day is going to be moving day. Well, hello everybody, and as I say, the warmest possible welcome, and it almost is the warmest possible welcome. I've got Shaun Pollock and Micaiah and Teenie alongside me. Morning, fellas. That was a day and a half, wasn't it?
It was full of entertainment, no shortage of action the whole way through, and we're probably going to be just as exciting today, so it's a good day to look forward to.
You were in and out of your chair a few times, weren't you?
Oh yeah,
around?
oh yeah, there was no dull moment. There was no dull moment. Every time we look on the television, there's a wicket either falling or there was a runs.
Let's have a reminder of where the match stands overnight, because I mentioned at the end of that piece of commentary 308 runs in the day for the loss of 15 wickets. Well, 181 Pakistan, having won the toss and chosen to bat on the back of Babar Azam, who played so well, for 71, and then Azhar Ali for 36, got in and got out, with Duanne Olivier 6 for 37, a top-class performance from him. Dale Steyn, of course, picking up wicket number 422. And South Africa 127 for 5. Pakistan came back at them really hard with the ball. This has been a very intense match so far, and just 54 runs between these two sides. Duanne Olivier comes into the side on the back of some injuries. You know, it's a difficult job, isn't it, filling Vernon Philander's shoes, never mind Lungi Ngidi, but he's a top-class cricketer.
Yeah, he is. It's a huge opportunity for him. He doesn't get that many opportunities, obviously sitting on the sidelines, but with those injuries, he gets another chance to show us what he can do at this level. And he's had a taste, he's had a thought process about what he needs to do, and he's come back a better individual. He's worked on his bowling. He continues to produce in the provincial setup. And yesterday was an example of what he can do. And I mean, it's always nice to get off to a fortunate start like that first wicket where he comes off the thigh pad and goes on, and you start to think it's his day. But I think the way he mixed up his length, he banged in a lot of short deliveries, and it was uncomfortable for the Pakistan side, and then he mixed them up with some good fuller ones, and he was backed up with some good fielding. So it was a fine performance. Obviously the inside edges that go onto stumps, you class yourself as lucky, but there's nothing lucky about that. Top of off is what every bowling coach would be asking for, and he pushed those batsmen back and then backed it up, particularly to the tail enders with some short pitch bowling. So it was a fantastic performance.
It was. Mackay, there's much about him that I admire, and they're talents that you had too, not least physical strength and staying power.
Oh, of course, the energy that he brought up even to the team as well. I understand when when those opportunities come through, you have to you grab them with the full hands. It did exact that because, filling someone's shoes, it's something else, especially the likes of Vernon, Philando and Ngidi, where they've shown their performance. So his time rises in I would say perfect time and a perfect day coming to Centurion, where everyone, it seems like when you get given that opportunity to come and play here, they actually make the means of it. They put their names in their board. He did very well. Their energy, running back, see that every time he runs in to put the ball down, there's something that's almost going to happen. You never wonder what's going to happen. It's almost you're on the edge of your seat that there's a wicket is going to fall, because of his energy, the way he approached. It was brilliant to watch.
It's the sort of surface, guys, where if you do bang the ball into it, you might get something out of it, isn't it?
Yeah, we were actually discussing earlier and saying it's almost a surface that you'd rather drag it down because there's a good chance of some variable bounce happening. But you still have to have that ability, and sometimes for bowlers it's difficult to try and bowl a fullish length but feel like you're still bowling the ball into the surface. When you bowl a bouncer or back of length delivery, it's easy because it's like a drag down and you can hit that length. But if you can get it up, particularly with a new ball, bang it into the surface on a fullish length and then it starts to be variable, it's very difficult with that new ball. Once it gets softer, it gets a bit easier for the batsman.
Okay. Well, of course, Duanne was only part of the story because so much of the story belonged to Dale, particularly in the first part of the day, needing one wicket to go past Sean. He did it with that fine delivery and sharp catch. Great moment.
Yeah, it's a huge moment for him. Obviously, it's been something that's playing on his mind for a while, and with all the injuries, it's taken him a lot longer than he would have wanted. But to have it behind him now, it's a real moment. You're number one, you're top of the pops, you're the king. You're in charge of the leading wicket taker of South African Test unit, and now you can just concentrate on trying to get more and more wickets and win games for South Africa and put that behind him. But he's been so good for so long that he clearly deserved to be top of the pops.
That's a fine list of bowlers, isn't it, Mackay? And he's top of them. What a cricketer he's been for South Africa.
Oh yes, without a doubt. And you've got the other one that they follow him right here as well. How nice that is. I think
and the other one below him.
That's what I'm saying. He's here, and then you've got this one.
Yeah, the big man.
Yeah. So it's quite a good thing, and then it's a good feeling as well for him. Now he goes home and sleep peacefully, no pressure of being able to see how he's going to do. You can see now he's going to start enjoying his game again. Start afresh. He's almost like as hasn't taken any wicket. It's one of those things, when you break through that whatever that has been, in front of you, and then all of a sudden you start relaxing and start afresh again. It's very good to see that, he has achieved that. And then I hope many of them that they will follow. The only goal now that they have is to pass him.
Yeah. He's an inspiration, as Sean was before him. So, having bowled Pakistan out for 181, the key question was how would South Africa cope with the pitch? Well, the answer was they didn't find it easy either, Sean. Here are the South African wickets yesterday.
Yeah, they looked pretty good to start. Looked like they could apply themselves better on that surface. And then I think the Pakistan bowlers tended to find their lengths and made life particularly uncomfortable for the South Africans. The 3 wickets fell with the score on 43, and all of a sudden Pakistan had really bowled themselves back into the match. And it was just through the same kind of bowling, banging it in just back over length, tight on the off stump, and it brought the results. That was a snorter that Faf got first up. Not much he could have done with that. So I think they've learned also what length they have to bowl. You would expect more from them this morning, and it's a real opportunity. 2 wickets is what they need to get themselves into a good position.
15 wickets falling in the day, Mackay. How much of that would you attribute to bad batting?
No, you cannot say bad batting. I think I would put in a way that the short selection was the key. And then I think what the way that Pakistan has bowled, they actually look to the South Africans before, and then they see the line and the length that, you know, they lost their wicket. Utilizing that as well for your own benefit. That's exactly what they've done. You know, keeping that line outside of stump. You can see the field placement as well. It was one side of it. You know, so that tells you that they knew exactly what they want to do. And then having information, someone who coached South Africa as well, Mickey Atta, they really utilized that as well. You know, I think, you know, bad betting, you know, we cannot put it that way. We can say, you know, you got out in a way that you shouldn't be getting out, you know. So I won't put it that way, but I think, you know, everybody needs to correct themselves and try to do better in the next innings.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mackay. Sean and I are going to look at the pitch in a minute. We're going to see whether that pitch will get more variable in its bounce. That's the key thing. Lovely view there of SuperSport Park on a glorious morning here in the Highveld. See you in just a moment.
So alive.
Welcome back to SuperSport Park. The second morning, nice and warm here. Temperature's supposed to be very hot around the middle of the day. I'm out on the pitch with Sean Pollock. I've had a number of friends ring last night and early this morning. What's going on, they say? Why do 15 wickets fall? And we try to explain a bit of uneven pace and bounce. And take us through it. It's an unusual looking pitch, isn't it, for a second day?
Yeah, I think at Centurion or SuperSport Park, often the pitch looks a lot worse than it actually plays. And sometimes with these little blocks and the cracks and the amount of grass on it, it can look particularly unusual to the eye. But if you go and have a look, there's no doubt that these cracks have opened up. Of that, that we can be dead sure that with the sun that baked down yesterday, the cracks have opened up. As far as the divots go that have produced themselves in the grass, not as bad going down to the commentary box end. From the Hennops River end, we can see a lot more scarring. It's almost like that ball has been banged in more here, and it's created a lot of divots you can see over here. These will play their parts, and particularly the divots that are close to the cracks. So you've got grass where the ball will take off from, you've got cracks where it will produce some inconsistent bounce, and then you've got the divots which will play their part as the game goes on. And I think the more it bakes, today we're expecting some bright sunshine to stay throughout the day, that variable bounce is going to get more and more.
Tell me, if you're a bowler, do you eye the cracks up? And if you're a batsman, are they in your peripheral vision?
Batsman, you've got to try and put it out your mind. They are in your peripheral vision, and you're thinking to yourself, that doesn't look pretty when you get to the crease for the first time, and particularly once the first one misbehaves. As a bowler, you've got to understand that there's enough to work with. So it's consistency, not giving too much away, and also being able to hit the deck on a full length. You don't want to be banging it in too short, because if it misbehaves there, invariably they can adjust. This is the area, probably 5 to 6 meters. If you can whack it in there, there's cracks, there's grass, there's divots. You should, if you can land 30 balls in that area, I don't see how you can't get a test wicket.
All right, okay. If only we were all as accurate as you, I think is probably the answer. Okay, over there in his eyrie is Mike Hazeman. I think he's got some further thoughts on this variable bounce.
Yeah, thanks, Mark and Sean. I mean, let's get into this, because that variable bounce yesterday was quite extraordinary. And I've got some stuff here to show you, some forensics. This little machine, a little touch screen. Have a look at this from the bowlers. The red stream is Olivier. Have a look at this. The odd ball's keeping low, odd one's taking off from Rabada. He was brilliant yesterday, Rabada. And here's Dale Steyn with the green stream. Look at that one climb. And we're going to turn this around just to show also how tough it is for the batsman. And we're going to show you what we call in the industry a fireworks. And just imagine facing this. So you've got this inconsistent bounce from these bowlers, and you've got to try and play this. And they're all, as you can see as well, importantly, coming from around about the same area. So that's a tough thing. But let me just have a look at what the basic situation is about teams when they do come to a continent where the ball is bouncing a bit more. The hardest adjustment for any batsman is going from low bounce pitches to the ones with steeper trajectory. That's the important thing. And horizontal bat players can obviously succeed in those conditions. So what do I mean? This gives you an illustration, and this is what we call a rail cam. stop it as it bounces, and you can see the trajectory with the red stream is a lot greater. So this is now going to take off a little bit more, and people talk about bounce, but it's bounce as it bounces. It's not bounce when it sort of gets loopy. It's right here with the tread. I'll keep going with this, and you see as it gets to the batsman, there's around about 27 centimetres difference when it gets out. And of course, it all happens a little bit quicker as well. The other thing I want to have a look at is the average speeds of the bowlers. Now, this is not going to show a terrific reading. It's not going to be massive, but have a look at this. You've got South Africans at around about the 140 k/h mark, and you've got the Pakistan guys at around 135. It's not a massive amount. It's really not huge, but if you get a situation there later on this pitch, as it breaks up a little bit more, as Sean and Mark were saying, that is going to make a big difference, because I think it's going to be at speed happening a lot quicker with the Pakistan players, and it's going to be troubling for them. But let's not forget also South Africa. They're going to have to bat last on this. There is one guy who I think did a really good job yesterday. I was talking about the horizontal bat shots. Babar, I thought, was really good. Look at some of these shots. He obviously sorted out a plan. He knew what he wanted to do, and he trusted the surface as best he possibly could. That's what you had to do. But he was the one that realised you've got to adjust the traj. You've got to try and play these horizontal shots as best as you can. And he didn't just rely on playing the vertical bats, and he made some runs and played really well indeed. So it's a really tough call for these guys. I just want to go through that inconsistent bounce again just to show how tough this is. 15 wickets going down yesterday, a lot of it because of this. I don't want to say good luck to the guys today, because this pitch is not going to get any better, that's for sure. Right, Mark, back to you.
Great, thanks Hazy. I suppose the message is you can bat on the surface. Babar Azam proved that, Rummies and Graham with me now. Babar Azam's a well-organised player, but also has the range of strokes that you need, don't you, for this level of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. It was important for him to pull the ball, because I think it's one area where Pakistan generally have struggled against sheer pace. Also, I think he put the bad balls away, and I think it was the mentality, it was the mental strength that saw him through also, because he's quite prepared to take the blows on the hands, on the splice of the blade, and he weathered the storm. And then when he saw the opportunity, he went for the shots, which was an important phase, because if he had just blocked at that stage, it would have been curtains for Pakistan. They couldn't have even got to score of 181. But look at some of those smashing drives, and I think that 3-over spell against Steyn really turned the tables in favour of Pakistan with the bat, because he batted beautifully, caressed the ball down the track, and then cut the ball as well. And so adjusting from low bounce to high bounce was where he was so good and so comfortable.
Yeah, I must say, in that 3-over spell against Steyn, he hit 10 boundaries, defended purely, and looked at the world-class player that I think he may well become after this innings.
Sure.
A lot of small innings. You'd call that a sort of a bit more than the cameo, but a smallish innings that goes on to make a man. From a little acorn grew a lot of great players, and that 70-odd terrific performance from Babar Azam. You want to highlight Temba, you're ready to go, aren't you? Look at you, stripped bare.
Yeah,
but very interesting to watch Temba Bavuma yesterday. He looked very organised.
Yeah, he did, and I think the two guys that stood out for me yesterday were Babar Azam and Temba Bavuma. I think their tempo to their play was great. They looked like they had good clarity of thought, which is always important on a difficult surface. Batting on a difficult surface creates budgies in the brain. It makes you overthink things, it creates fear, it makes you tense, and then you don't react in the right way to what needs to be done. In the preparation, a lot of the batters would have think, okay, I'm facing a left-arm swing bowler, I'm facing a tall guy that gets bounced. How do I go about it? But now you're throwing in a surface that is difficult. So I think it's so important for a batter. This is where you do your thinking. When the bowler's walking back to his mark, you do your thinking, your preparation. When you come in and you stand on your guard, whether it's middle stump, or are you standing out of your crease, or are you not, this is where you want clarity of thought. You want to just watch the ball, clear mind, and allow your body to react to what happens. If you overthink things, you get tense, and that's when you make mistakes. We saw a lot of the Pakistan batsmen tense when it bounced, throw their hands, the ball, edge found, and I think it's just about clarity of mind. If you get a one that goes up and down and does something, you can't do anything about it, but try and play the ball and clear your mind.
It was interesting how well Bavuma played when he first came in defensively, and then the more time he spent at the crease, the more he was able to expand and play his shots.
Well, absolutely. I think he played some beautiful strokes. I think for me, what was different from the sort of last series I saw him play here in South Africa was tempo. He was happy to take the game on. He knew where his scoring areas were. If he got a ball in that scoring area, he put it away. And when it was in the good area, he was strong in defence. Good foot movement, back and forward. Babar Azam was the same. And it was excellent to see the timing, the tempo to the innings. and the ability on a tough surface to transfer pressure back onto the bowler. That is the most difficult thing. On this surface, the bowlers had the way. So how do I put him under pressure? Body language, calling loud, running hard with my partner, and having a clear mind and moving well.
Yeah, I thought they played Yasir Shah beautifully as well. I think that was an important part of the game as well, because had they frozen against Yasir Shah, who has been in terrific form, it could have been a difficult period for South Africa. But the way he moved out of the crease and played those dominating shots down the ground, I think that really was a clincher for me as well.
It was typical of Pakistan to fight back, even though their players short of their best bowling attack, key players. It was typical of Pakistan. One thing that the Pakistan heritage has always had is that feisty ability to stay in a match.
You give them a breakthrough, give them a wicket, and they'll bounce back quite brilliantly. I think that is what we saw from them. And more importantly, the slip cordon, I thought Smithy was brilliant, because I think that is where Pakistan have erred at times.
And in South Africa, catching is so crucial. You get a lot of opportunities behind. I was watching this morning in training. There was good energy. They were diving. They were taking good catches. And I know Mickey Arthur, having played under him as a captain and as a player, it's something that's very important to him. He knows take those chances and you give yourself a good go.
Okay, guys, we'll take a little wander. We don't want to get in the way of the umpires, so we'll start vacating the field of play and trying to set up what happens today. With 5 wickets to take, Pakistan presumably start with 2 seamers and see if there's variable bounce there.
Yeah, of course, and look to attack, look to pick wickets. I think there's no point in being defensive. You've got to be miserly as well, so you've got to find that happy medium where you look to attack and also defend.
Okay, do you think the South Africans come out aggressively and look to take them on before they settle?
Well, I think tempo within your own game plan. You know, each player will know, okay, I don't want to drive until I'm in. Maybe I'll cut. If they bowl straight at me, I'm going to put them under a short ball. I'm going to take on. So whatever that decision is, you want to play within your own game plan and be positive. I think Steyn and Bavuma and de Kock is going to be key here today.
Okay, let's talk about de Kock then. I mean, he's known for the counter-attack. He's the Gilchrist of the modern age of the game. I mean, at what stage does he, if you like, release the shackles? Does he come in and play his natural intent immediately? I mean, we've seen the best innings on this pitch so far. People have had a look at it first, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got his natural temper. He's always looking to be positive and take the game on. So, you know, I think where Quinny has struggled of late has been in his defensive play. His defensive game hasn't been as good, and that's why he's had a little bit of inconsistency. He's been around international cricket for a period of time now, and I think he's got to move from a flasher to a guy that puts in important performances for his team. And I think today is one of those days.
What about the mental strength of this Pakistan side? We question them, don't we? We saw the recent fallout against New Zealand that cost them the series. Yeah. Do you suspect that they can stay in this match?
They've got to. It's as simple as that. I think they've given themselves a very good chance to be competitive. You know, they've never beaten South Africa in a test series. By the way, no Asian team has been able to do that. So here's a big opportunity for them, because they've bounced back in this contest, which is great. Now they've got to just build on that pressure, build on that performance.
All right, all around me we have umpires making their way to the middle. Here's the Pakistan side just to my left, led by Safraz. Do you know what? I think it's important to start well. I think this first hour's play, if one side gets away from the other in the first hour, that might well determine how the match travels.
Absolutely. I think every day as a captain you say in your team this is the most important day, but this session is, yesterday so much happened that this session is now the most crucial of the test match. Can Pakistan strike and get bat and get some runs on the board and leave South Africa a difficult chase in the fourth?
Yeah, it seems very important to me to be concentrating. I think it's very easy to come out on the second morning of a test match and not quite be there, so it's very important to be on it. We expect seam bowlers, we expect aggressive batting, particularly from Quinton de Kock. So yeah, we're kind of ready to go. What weather for it too. I mean, this is a Boxing Day test match, perfectly set up. A reminder of where we are. After 308 runs and 15 wickets yesterday, there's an advantage of 54 for the Pakistan side.